Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears,
the ambassador of flow, here with the big guy today.
As always. How's it going, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I just had to jump in there. I'm sorry.
I love it, man. Like the quicker I can get you talking, the better. I grab my passion fruit.
Your big gulp.
Passion fruit, big gulp. And I take it and I just lay it back and listen. We got a cool podcast today.
Yep.
As usual, hopefully this podcast is extremely shareable.
Yep.
Right? Amongst everyone. Tell them what we're talking about, Matt.
So where do you get your intelligence from? That's what we're talking about. Where do you get your stats? Where do you get your information? Because we've talked a lot about being able to share that and all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about where to get that from and then what you do with it.
Yeah. I'm going to go with my dad.
All right. That's
right. No knock on my mom.
Right. Well, you know she's listening.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mom. You're smart too.
In a whole different way.
Yeah, just in a whole different way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But, so where do you get your intelligence from? I like that.
Yeah.
Before, guys, wherever you're listening to this, hit that follow and subscribe button. If you want to get just a little bit more intelligence, go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter. We drop so much intelligence into that newsletter each week. And just provide you with lots of information that you can use and share with your current agents, recruits in your market. Just help you build a solid relationship and recruit in a very relationship kind of way.
Yep.
So, Matt.
Yeah, Benny.
Where do you get your intelligence from? And we're also going to talk about, how do you share that intelligence, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll go through really quick where you get it from.
Okay.
Because that's pretty easy, and then we'll talk about how to share it.
All right. Well, let's talk about that first then.
Yep. One, if you did our marketing challenge, right, there's one of the downloads in there gave you a whole bunch of places that you can actually get it from, right? Mm-hmm. So what we do is we use this to, keep your current staff in the loop.
Yeah.
Right. You also use it to recruits, which we've talked about in other podcasts. It kind of helps them understand that you are somebody that they need to be connected with. Right. Yeah. And then you also, if you put it together the right way, it actually makes it really shareable, which we'll talk about in just a second. Right. Mm-hmm. But, the places to get it from, of course, are, like NAR and Swansporo and Real Trends and your state association, your local association. There's Keeping Current Matters, right? That's one. There's so many different places that you can get this information from.
Yeah.
Here's what I would suggest about where you're getting it from. It needs to be in a format that you like it. Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Keeping Current Matters, great place with great information, infographics, all that kind of stuff that you can share and everything. That's just kind of not my jam, right? I like Real Trends.
Yeah.
Right? I like the Swansporo report, rolling into it, getting the right. So wherever you're gonna get the information from, get it in a way that appeals the most to you. Right?
Yeah. That way you can have a resource to keep going back to.
Absolutely, and keep going back to that same one. Not that you don't want to get some from other places, but try to be consistent in where you're getting that information from.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Your message is going to be consistent if you're getting your information from a consistent, consistent source. Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that. I really get all my information just from you, Matt. So
when it comes to real estate,
when it comes to real estate,
anything digital marketing and marketing wise, Benny's got that info. He's got books around the office. You can't walk in the office not tripping over 6 books.
I'm a book hoarder. Yep. Right. So I apologize to no one.
Right. That's why you shouldn't.
Some really cool things on that marketing challenge form. You're exactly right. We're gonna talk a little bit about where you can share those things, the platforms that you can share them, the format that you can share this information once you have it. Because again, it's very selfish to hoard all this intelligence.
Right. Yep.
And then not share it with everyone.
Absolutely.
And it's honestly a huge opportunity missed when it comes to recruiting. Sorry, guys, my voice. If you are keeping it to yourself.
That's right.
Right. So let's talk about 4 or 5 ways that they can share this intelligence that they've learned. Starting with our favorite, which is video.
Right. And I think it's our favorite, but it's not just our favorite. It's the world's favorite right now.
Yeah. To consume, for sure.
Absolutely.
Not always to produce.
That's exactly right. So video, of course, is a big one, right? And whenever we say video, I'm going to kind of break them down into 2 categories. You tell me if I'm off base here, right? Okay. There's live and there's not live.
Pretty much. Okay. Consumes them all. Exactly.
That's right. So you have to figure out which one you're more comfortable with, right? Being live is just more authentic.
Yeah.
You got to be a little bit more prepared for it in a certain way. But that means, doing holding your phone up and going live on Facebook, right?
Yep.
It means doing things that are, live stream things and stuff like that. And being live on podcasts and stuff like that, which we'll talk about that more in just a minute.
Yep.
But determine which of those you feel more comfortable with. Okay. A lot of people to begin with are more comfortable with the video that's recorded and then putting those out. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that. Right. So I've told people this before, paste something on the wall behind your camera where your camera's up, read over the top of the camera, give it a try, do it 3, 4, 58 times if you have to, delete all the takes that you don't want, make the video, make it short, make it sweet, and then make it something in the video where they can go and get more, because their attention span is too short, right? If you go, okay, I've got a 96-hour dissertation about why, the market is the way that it is in Kalamazoo, Michigan, right? That nobody's going to pay any attention to.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So you're just going to give the highlights and then say, if you want more information, DM me, or if you want more information, go to my website. If you want more information, go to wherever, just so that they can go get it.
Yeah.
You want, if you truly want to be helpful and relationship based, they should be able to just go grab that information and use it. Right?
Yeah.
Which is why we do what we do. Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, we want it to be convenient and easy for them. The video gets their attention and gets them going where they need to go. Right. And then they can go get the additional content from there.
Yep. No, absolutely. And guys, think about it just, because I like things that have shelf life, the same way that Matt does too. Of course, like when we go live, like those things are typically like, this is relevant right now. And that's why I got to let you know, to give you an idea of when things need to go live and when things need to be recorded. If you have something, because in our last podcast, we talked about like an evergreen training. If you have something to say, like, and some intelligence that you want to share, and it just, gosh, this works in every market or whatever, and you want to share it, by all means, go live and share it right now. There's no issues with that whatsoever. I highly recommend, once you are finished with that, or if this is the only way that you want to do it, then record it, right? Do it both ways if you have to, but then record it, because now you have something on your hard drive that you can pull at any time that you're talking to someone, and you can say, I got this really cool thing that I recorded, or I've got some information about that I can send you really quick. I can even text it to you, throw it on YouTube, have it unlisted if you don't want it to be public.
Right.
Then you can just share a YouTube link with the video that you had. And, again, it just adds that different level of credibility to everything that you're doing in recruiting. So you talked about this just a second ago, Matt, as far as like, sharing it live or being live on a podcast.
Yep.
You can be a guest. Yep. Right? And that's the second thing we're going to talk about is being a guest. It can be on a podcast. It can be on a show. It can be a guest blogger. I know that, you write a lot of articles as far as, a guest author, we'll say, for Dotloop, right? So just being a guest in different ways and sharing that information is pretty cool as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and it doesn't have to be on a big stage, right? So don't think that you have to be on the morning news in whatever city you're in,
right.
Okay? As far as being a guest. Don't think you have to be on the #1 rated podcast for real estate in order to, or whatever else, right? It can be something simple. Here's a big one. If you're not comfortable and you just want to give it a try and you want to learn to be a guest a little bit, I would be willing to bet that either in your office, or in some of your social circles, you have someone that is in Rotary or the Chamber of Commerce or some other type of networking group, AM Spirit or BNI or whoever it is, MPI, whoever. I'm willing to bet that they would have you come in and speak as a guest speaker on a certain segment of whatever's going on in the real estate market.
Yeah,
right? It could just be time on market.
Yes.
What are the trends on time on market? You do your research, you talk about that, you get familiar with it, go in and be a guest and do those things. Now, how does that help you with recruiting? We'll talk about that in just a second, okay? But being a guest in these different places gives you a chance to kind of go in and talk and feel comfortable and be connected with people and share a message. If this scares you, it's okay. Start really super small. Okay, and then just learn how to have those conversations and how to talk to people and learn how to be a guest on a podcast, on a show, on a whatever. You start doing that a little bit, and the next thing you know, people see you, and pretty soon, people are gonna start asking you to do stuff, and you're just gonna get looked at differently.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you don't have to be an expert on all things in 58 different whatever. Right? I would suggest that you really focus, get hyper specific on a certain piece of what's going on in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Time on market is a good one. Average days on market and time to contract and all that kind of stuff. Just being able to discuss what that means and what the trends are in your market, and then what the trends are nationally. That's a 10 or 15 minute conversation that anyone's going to find useful.
You got that right.
So just dig into one specific piece of it, or one neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Or one, part of town, or one, right? Whatever, everything east of I-95 on the water, right? Whatever it is.
Hey guys, this podcast is powered by Prospect Boomerang.
We all know broker owners struggle with profitability. Prospect Boomerang compounds your profits by recruiting the best agents to your brokerage.
For consistent growth, visit prospectboomerang.com.
Just be really, really comfortable with that, and be prepared to talk about it. Get some basic notes so that you kind of stay on track. And most of the time when you're a guest, you can prompt the person what questions to ask you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And so that, because they want you to come on, they want it to be helpful for everyone, and just go, here's the things that, I think would really be helpful to talk about. You can ask me questions along the line of this. Right. And they will, they'll stay very close to that, because they want it to be informative you're doing them a favor.
Yeah. Yeah. They want you to essentially refer them more guests as well.
Yep.
So, if it's difficult or uncomfortable for you, then they know, hey, that person's not going to hook me up with a couple more guests.
Or
either.
they're not going to come back and do it next month.
That's exactly right. So, that brings us to our next one. But I don't think this is one that necessarily would need to spend a lot of time on. Most people probably understand, if you have this intelligence that you want to share, that you need to share it on social platforms, right? That's pretty common knowledge. The important thing would be, where are the people that you want to share with? And we've done podcasts before on, where's your audience, find your target audience, define who your avatar is, that kind of thing. But you have everything from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, you name it. It's out there. You just need to make sure that you're sharing it in the place not only where your audience is, but in the language that platform speaks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of brings us to the next one, which is when you've got the information and everything, and you're being a guest and you're putting on social media and all that kind of stuff. Also use it in your training.
Yes.
Okay. So let me give you an example. Let's go back to days on market, right?
Yep.
Let's say that you're having a training on whatever you're having a training on. It's contracts, right? You're doing .loop, how to be a transaction manager, or whatever it is, right? When you open that up, go, hey guys, we're really excited to talk about, how this is going with .loop and all of that kind of stuff. But really quickly, I just wanted to, I was a guest on whatever it was at whatever point this was, or I just shared some information on social media. So I just wanted to kind of share it with you guys really quickly too. So let's take 2 minutes to talk about days on market and what that really means. And so then in your training, even if the whole training is not about days on market, okay, your training, you would be able to discuss a little bit of that. That makes you just better versed in that. That just makes you more comfortable talking about it. At that point, you're just going to use it in training so that it allows you to feel comfortable talking about it. So it makes it easier for you to have those conversations later with people.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And then that brings us to our last one. And this is probably the most important thing, but also the most difficult thing to accomplish.
Yep.
Right, because everyone, and I'll let you know what it is in just a second. Every one of us, have produced some sort of content, and it goes out there, and it's just crickets chirping, and nobody cares or seems to care. But don't let that discourage you from putting that next thing out, or that next thing. Right. Yep. If we would have put out 1 or 2 podcasts and went by those numbers, right, we still would not be. We wouldn't be on our 167th, I believe is what this is, podcast here today. But make sure that your content is shareable, and that means so many different things. Logistically, yes, your content can be shareable just because you put it on a platform that is a shareable platform. But if you get on there and you say, hey, this information is just for people at my brokerage and whatever, right? Then nobody's going to share that, or if you're talking about something that's just completely irrelevant, maybe it gets shares because you had a picture of a kitty cat falling off of off the bed or something like that. Who cares if that gets shared? Right. So make sure that you're targeting your audience the correct way. Make sure that and you're on the right platform, but make sure that your content that you're putting on there is something that, someone would say, wow, that's really good. I need my friends and colleagues to hear this.
Yeah, and it's got to be easy to share too, right?
Yes.
That's the other thing. It has to be real super easy to share. And we said we'd touch on this in just a second, but how do you use this in recruiting?
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So when you put this information out there, you're not going to say, hey, if you're looking for a new office, here, I was a guest on the local podcast, whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's horrible. Okay.
Yeah. Try it and let us know, but that'll be hilarious.
Yeah, that's right. But what you're going to do is you're going to put that content out there, and then you're going to have conversations with people, and it's going to come up.
Yes.
Right. So you're going to talk about the market and all that kind of stuff, and they're going to go, oh yeah, it's stretching out a little bit days on the market right now, and you're going to be able to say, yeah, I was just a podcast guest on Brokers Open Podcast, and we were talking about days on market and everything. I'll send you a copy of that if you get a chance to listen to. You probably really love it. Tell me how the rest of the market's treating you. Mm-hmm. Right. And so that's not you bragging about that. If it's valuable, good content, that is you sharing it. That's being shareable, right? Yep. And so from a recruiting standpoint, you want to make sure that whatever you're putting out there gives you the chance to be shareable. So as an example, we talked about Rotary and Chamber of Commerce and the meetings and all that kind of stuff. Have somebody record it. Yeah. Right? Put your phone up or have somebody else put their phone up and just record you talking about it. And you don't need to use every bit of that. Use 5 seconds of it and put it on social media and go, hey guys, I'm really thankful that Rotary asked me, the Rotary of Kalamazoo, Michigan asked me to talk today a little bit about days on market and what's happening with the real estate. Here's a short clip of it. I hope you guys, whatever, right? Yeah. You put that out there, and whenever you put that out there, if you're connected with recruits, which you should be, right? Yep. Connected with them on social media, they're seeing that. They're seeing that you're out there doing those things. All of that makes a difference, and it helps them want to be around someone that is being impactful in the market like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Guys, be shareable.
That's right.
Don't hold all your intelligence and to yourself. Send me an email. Tell me what I want to share it. Right. But wherever you're listening to this, I got something I want you to do on top of that. Wherever you're listening to this, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, hit that follow button. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button. Hit that bell right beside it. You get notified every time we drop a new episode. Also, go to prospectboomerang.com. If you are a broker, manager, or just recruiting manager who is interested in recruiting in a very relationship way versus just, making calls 40 cold calls 40% of your day. Right. Go there and check that out and see what we have for you. We have something for every brokerage of every different size and all different price points. So, Matt.
Yep.
Throw us down an action item, and let's tell them we want them to win.
Absolutely. So action item's a real simple one, right? So go ahead and start exploring some Facebook groups. Okay. Go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn has groups as well. Absolutely. Instagram, I don't think has groups, right? So, yeah. No. But go out there and get connected. Find some groups. Go in and search some stuff. It doesn't have to be real estate. It can be entrepreneur. It can be business. It can be your local community. It can be whatever. Mm-hmm. And go ask if there's an administrator. Ask them to be part of it. Ask them about what's how to share and all that kind of stuff. Go in there and be engaged and be connected. And start prepping yourself for how you're going to share and what information you're going to share when you get the chance in there. Yep. So you're going to be able to say, hey guys, came across this great infographic. This is what's going on in my market. I'd love to hear what else is going on in everybody else's market. And then you post that in your LinkedIn group. Yeah. And it's, average days on market, just going back to that example. Average days on market are this, and it's trending this way, and this is what's happening in the other. And then that's that. Right. Yeah. And then you post that, and all of a sudden you get more comfortable doing that. You get more used to doing that. You're getting attention for doing that. All of those things all add up. Yeah. And competency breeds confidence. Yes. And the more competent you are being in that group and being connected and dumping that stuff in there on a regular basis and reacting to comments and all that kind of stuff, the more confident you're going to become. And then there's other opportunities that are going to pop up. And all that's going to do is put you in the right light in front of the agents that you want to attract to your office. Yeah, no, I love that. Well, we want to be engaged and connected. We do. With everyone out there in podcast land listening. Yeah. That's really, one of the reasons that we do this podcast. Agreed. But it's not the main reason. It's not. We do this podcast. The main reason we do this podcast is why, Matt? It's for one reason and one reason only, because we want to be part of their win, Dr. Ben. That's right.